In this episode, we look at approaches to the writing process. In this lesson, we continue to focus on writing, and we will explore writing instructions and how we interpret them. We will also review the writing process. So the objectives: students will be able to identify and express the importance of key phrases, explain, describe, state, three ways, etc. in writing prompts. Review the strategies of the writing process. Identify and use various writing leads techniques in responding to narrative writing prompts. Engage. Read the writing prompts below. 1. You had a dream that you could not forget. Relate the events in the dream. 2. You were walking home from school when you witnessed an accident. Describe what you saw. 3. Write a letter to your friend in another country telling him or her about 3 aspects of your country's culture. 4. Some of your classmates do not like to attend physical education classes. Explain 3 reasons why physical education is important. Now it says, what are the key terms in the prompt above that tells you what and how you are to write? Number 1, relate the events. This means in your writing, you are going to tell the reader the activities that you dreamed about. 2, describe what you saw. Give detailed descriptions of what you saw. So you're going to use adjectives and adverbs to create a picture in the minds of readers. 3, write a letter about aspects of your country's culture. So you're going to use the format of a letter and then give details about 3 aspects of your country's culture. For prompt 4, explain 3 reasons physical education is important. You're going to give details telling what physical education does and ensure that there are 3 reasons given. Writing prompts tell us what we are expected to write. Writing prompts tell us what we are expected to write. Identifying the key words in writing prompts is very important. It helps us to follow instructions or answer the question in the prompt. Key words include explain, describe, state, outline, relate, 3 ways, etc. Explore. After understanding the prompt, how do we write? What are the steps? Let's review the strategies. 2. Writing is a process that involves at least 4 distinct steps: pre-writing, drafting, revising, and editing. While you are revising, you might have to return to the pre-writing step to develop and expand your ideas. Explain. Pre-writing is the first stage during which the writer needs to consider 3 main factors. Topic: what am I writing about? Audience: who will read what I write? And purpose: why am I writing? A diagram or an outline may be used to organize ideas. The next step would be drafting. Drafting is where you begin to write in paragraphs what you want to communicate to the reader. Revision. Revision is the stage in the writing process where the writer reviews, changes, and adds to his message according to what has been written in the draft. Once you have written your first rough draft, you are ready to start revising your work. This is a very important stage of the writing process, and you may have to repeat it 3 or 4 times before you are satisfied with your writing. Editing. At this point in the writing process, writers proofread and correct errors in grammar and mechanics and edit to improve style and clarity. having another writer's feedback in this stage is helpful. So sometimes in class we may ask you to share with your elbow partner, meaning the person sitting near to you, and you exchange, and that person looks at it and they may use the proofreader's marks to show you the things that you need to put in or to take out to make your writing better. Finally, publishing. In this last step of the writing process, the final writing is submitted to the reader. Extend. Narratives. Often when we write for school, we write stories. These are called narratives. Narrative elements are all the aspects that make up a story. They include an entertaining beginning, the setting, theme, plot, characters, suspense, climax, and solution. 1. The setting is the time and place of events in the story. 2. The theme is what the story is trying to tell the reader. That is the message it conveys, the belief or idea that the story is sharing. 3. The plot is what happens in the story and the order of the story's events. 4. A character is a person, animal, being, creature, or thing in a story. 5. Suspense is a feeling of excitement or anxiety about something that is going to happen in the story. 6. The climax is the high point of the story, the most exciting part. This is where the action starts, usually leading to a solution to a problem in the story. 7. The solution. The solution is the event that brings an end to the problem or conflict in the story. Now, here are some examples of narrative prompts. 1. Tell a story about what your life would be like if you lived in a world where there was no such thing as television, computers, or electronic games. 2. Pretend that you lived in colonial times. Think about what your life would be like and how it would be different living more than 200 years ago. Now write a story about a young person or yourself living in Marcus Garvey's days. 3. One day your teacher must go home. Your teacher leaves, telling you that someone else will teach the class for the rest of the time. Who do you think will replace your teacher? What happens as a result? Write a story about a time your teacher had to go home and someone else took over the class. Now evaluate. You're going to select one of the prompts above, underline the keywords that help you to decide what you are required to write, and follow the writing process to write the story. Now ask your parent or teacher to read your story and give you feedback. So this is one of the charts that we have in class. And remember, we had said we need to compare, contrast, explain, justify, show how, and summarize. And we need to be aware of what these things mean when we get our writing prompt for all our exams. So compare means to identify the similarities between two ideas, pointing out any that are particularly significant. Contrast, on the other hand, identifies the differences between two ideas, pointing out any that are particularly significant. Explain means that you give details about how and why something occurs. To justify means to give evidence of an idea or point of view. Show how means to present things in logical order or the stages that result in something. And to summarize means to give only the main points stated in the stimulus in a concise way. So if we're asked to summarize, we're not going to give all of the supporting details. So in this episode, we looked at approaches to the writing process. Please remember that writing is a process that includes pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. Now, some of us believe that writing is just done once. You just write something and that's the end of it. But you understand from the writing process that sometimes you may have to go back to your pre-writing where you think about an idea, you add something else to it, you go back to revising it, you edit. Even after you think that you're ready now to publish, you may still find where you need to go through and fine-tune what you have written. Go ahead, complete the activities. Remember to look at the prompt, and a prompt usually has the scenario and the instructions. Look out for those keywords, those verbs that tell you exactly what you need to do. I look forward to seeing your stories, and what would be lovely would be if you would do your story and then send it in as a video so that we can share it with the rest of the class. So remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments down below. Take care. I'll see you in the next episode.